Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Max24, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever has just hit theaters, and that marks the end of the MCU Phase 4, at least in the movie department. So we're going to stop, and we're going to rank every single one of the 7 theatrical released Phase 4 MCU projects. But before we get into that, please always do remember to drop a like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, and all that us YouTubers tell you guys to do. Follow me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I open most on Twitter and TikTok, something on Facebook, barely ever on Instagram. Follow me, subscribe to me here. And with that, let's rank all of Phase 4. So Phase 4 has been kind of all over the place, quality-wise, right? It's very much an experimental phase, and no two of these movies are really alike. They're trying a lot of new things in this phase. Some of it's working out really well, some of it's falling a bit flat. I personally have really enjoyed most of these projects. There's only like 2 or 3 on this list that I didn't really care for, but overall I think it's still a really strong phase, and I'm excited to see where the MCU goes from here and what experimenting they continue to do as they go forward. This phase of movies, we got a couple brand new teams, but most of them were just sequels to teams and characters we have already seen before. A lot of the new introductions and new characters were reserved for Disney Plus. I went over and I ranked all of the Disney Plus projects in a different video because there's a lot of projects in the Phase 4. It's the most projects we've gotten because of Disney Plus, because they are just churning them out on a constant rate, which a conversation can be had about quantity over quality. But I did a separate video for the Disney Plus. This is my theatrical movies. So if you don't know, the theatrical movies that are in Phase 4 are as follows. We have Black Widow, we have Shang-Chi, we have The Eternals, we have Thor Love and Thunder, we have Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we have Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and we have SpiderMan No Way Home. Those are all of the movies that are in Phase 4 of the MCU. So let me know in the comments how you would rank them, and without further ado, let's get into my ranking of these movies. So in last place, I would put The Eternals, alright? If there was ever an MCU movie that I think could have been a TV show, it was The Eternals. This is a brand new team of characters, but not just 1 to 4 characters, not just a small team. No. We have like 10 different characters that they have to introduce in this movie, while also telling us this cohesive story about these characters that have had their minds warped for years and are on this planet to, kind of destroy our planet and open up an egg that are apparently Earth's an egg, and there's like going to be a statue coming out, or a giant titan or a celestial coming out of the planet, and there was way too much going on in this movie. Now, this movie, I will give pointers for the visuals. The visuals are fantastic. Chloe Zhao was brought in fresh off of Nomadland to pen this movie, and I think she did a fantastic job as far as the looks go. This looks like one of the most real Marvel movies we've gotten, which, isn't a bash on Marvel, but it's a plus for this movie. However, the story, they're just doing way too much in such a short span of time, alright? I think it's like 2.5 hours, maybe even less, of time to set up all 10 of these characters while telling the story. It doesn't work out well. There's just too much going on, and then you lead to a bunch of characters that are just poorly developed, a plot, an enemy that is just poorly developed. You don't even know who the real villain is until the end, which, could work in a nice twist, but I don't care enough about these characters by the end to really care about the big twist with Icarus and stuff. And when the characters are killed off, you're supposed to feel something too, but again, I don't, because I have not spent a lot of time with this. This could have been a TV show. You could have taken one of the TV shows like Miss Marvel or Moon Knight or something, made that into a movie, and made the Eternals into a TV show, and I think it would have worked a lot better. I don't think as a movie it works. Next, I would put Thor Love and Thunder, alright? Taika Waititi returned fresh off of Thor Ragnarok, which was a great reinvention of the Thor character, and I was super excited to see what Taika Waititi would do next, because even though Twitter will try to convince you that Thor Ragnarok was a bad movie and they want Thor 1 and 2, nobody wants Thor 1 and 2. Nobody liked that version of Thor. This version of Thor, the Thor Ragnarok version of Thor, is peak Thor, and that movie was just so colorful, so fun, and Taika Waititi knew what to do there, and I was hoping he would be able to repeat that success with Love and Thunder, but sadly, lightning doesn't strike twice, alright? Thor Love and Thunder is just not a very good movie. It felt like Taika Waititi just went way too hard into the slapstick comedy, okay? Thor Ragnarok had a nicer balance. Thor Love and Thunder did not. It was just slapstick scene after slapstick after slapstick, and there was just too much of that going on in this film for it to me to really care about anything going on in the film. Gore the God Butcher was also severely wasted, severely underutilized. All right, the scenes that Christian Bale are on the screen were great. They were phenomenal, right? I wanted more of that. I wanted more of that Thor movie. However, that was completely overshadowed by the other Thor movie that was going on at the same time, which was this slapstick comedy. Those two didn't mesh well together. The really dark story about the butchering of gods does not go well with the slapstick joke fun time that they were trying to mesh well. And then you also have the Jane Foster storyline up here. That does not mesh with that either. It's a bundled mess, and it just wasn't very good. All right? Sure, some of the jokes land. Sure, some of the visuals are really, really cool. And sure, at Thor at the end, I'm interested to see where he goes with like this new child character, but how we got there and literally everything else going on was just not. It was not good. It was not good. All right, it was not what I wanted it to be. Next up, I would say Black Widow. Black Widow is the Phase 1 movie that came a little bit too late. All right, we have known this character. We have known Natasha Romanoff since Phase 1, since Iron Man 2. It took her all the way to Phase 4 after she had died in Endgame for her to get a movie. I don't know why they waited this long. I don't know what they thought this would add to it, but it just felt like it was out of place. Like, this is how we're starting Phase 4 with Black Widow movie? We just killed her off. We just watched her die. Why are we doing this? All right? I don't understand. And now it could have been like a fitting tribute to the character, but no, I don't understand why we're suddenly back with her. Now, did it tell an interesting story? Yeah, sure. It was all right. It was decent. All right, we got more of an exploration of Natasha Romanoff's backstory. That like montage at the beginning, really great, really dark. All right, the MCU has only dabbled in darkness, and that went pretty dark. All right, that's like the highlight of the movie. The new introduction of some of the characters. Sure, Yelena is a really good character. I really like Yelena. I don't really remember Red Guardian. He's funny, but the rest of the movie is just it was all right. All right, Taskmaster was severely wasted, and that was an interesting Taskmaster. What could have been an interesting, spy thriller type ending turned out into this big explosive finale where you have Black Widow jumping from a giant exploding space station or whatever sky station that apparently nobody knew was up there, skydiving down, attacking people midair. That was just so cartoony, so crazy, and that just didn't need to happen. All right, some MCU films feel like they need to do these big CGI endings, and Black Widow was not one of them. It could have been an interesting little spy thriller about Black Widow stopping Dreykov and saving the other Black Widows. It amounted into this really cartoony jump from the sky type situation, and was it a bad movie? I would not say it was a bad movie. Was it a super good movie? No. It was just an all right. It was like a mediocre MCU movie. Okay, what could have come out years ago and could have expanded the Black Widow character, came out way after her death, and it just felt kind of unnecessary, and just the plot was just kind of a CGI clustered fest, and From here, all of the rest of these movies, I actually thoroughly enjoy. I think these are some of the best MCU projects we have gotten to date. So next, I would say Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is a brand new character, and I thought this was just so much fun, all right? Yes, there can be some criticism thrown for just the jokes, how they need to throw a joke with Awkwafina in like every other second. Sure, gets a little annoying at times, but the story was just so good, all right? Just Shang-Chi's journey to accepting who he is and accepting his life and dealing with his father and this family drama going on. The martial arts, the fight scenes were really well choreographed, and Shang-Chi as a character and just the characters around him, I am very interested to see more of. Now, did I need it to revolve into this giant CGI dragon battle at the end? No, I didn't. Was it still cool to see? Yeah, sure. It was cool. It was fun to see him running around this giant dragon with rings around his arms. The overall story was also, I thought, just an enjoyable story, okay? You have this father who will do whatever he can to bring back his wife and try to rebuild his family and, bring them all back together. No matter how many times people tell him he is being manipulated or lied to, he will not listen because he knows what he's doing is right. And that is where the best villains are. The ones who think what they're doing is right. And this man thinks that whatever he's doing exactly right until the last minute when he's killed. The quest to bring back his wife ultimately ended in his own death and the possible destruction of the world. Now, again, did this story need a destruction of the world plot or a giant CGI fight at the end? No, it didn't. I think a lot of the movie was super strong. It didn't need that to end like that, but it didn't hurt the movie for me either. Next up, I would say Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. All right, this is more so a WandaVision sequel than it is a Doctor Strange sequel, but I thoroughly enjoyed this, okay? Just, they got Sam Raimi to come back to comic book movies. It's a very horror-esque MCU film, all right? We have, Scarlet Witch contorting her body as she breaks through mirrors. We have Doctor Strange inhabiting a corpse, you making a giant cape of corpses. We have terrifying things happening. We have creepy demon things attacking Scarlet. We have all this stuff. It's very horror-esque, and that just really, really helped this film a lot because it's a very unique feeling film. The first Doctor Strange was also... This one is just, it's just really nice to see the MCU experiment like this, and I want to see more stuff like this. The story was actually, I enjoyed the story, all right? People say this ruined Wanda's character. I don't see that, all right? I don't know how you would see that, because at the end of WandaVision, you clearly, if you didn't watch the end credit, the end credit scene, she clearly has the Darkhold, which we know corrupts people, and then she clearly hears her kids yell for her. So this felt like a very obvious continuation of the story because the Darkhold is corrupting her and convincing her that her kids are out there and they need to be saved. And she wants to go take them and she wants to go care for them. I felt like this was a very obvious continuation of her character from WandaVision. And I felt like her being the villain here was probably one of the best calls. I also really enjoyed America Chavez as a new character. I'm hoping we get more of her. Right now she's not super developed. So I'm hoping we get more of her. We will get more of her. But I'm hoping we, get to learn a lot more about her and, connect with her more. There wasn't a lot of multiverse shenanigans going on in my Multiverse of Madness, but that was okay. The universes they went to, I was fine with. We didn't need this big, sprawling multiversal adventure because it was not focused on that. It was focused on Scarlet Witch trying to get America Chavez and Doctor Strange doing all he can to stop her. Next up, I would say Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This movie, I needed a tissue box for. Okay, I did. It was such a touching tribute to Chadwick Boseman as well as a continuation of the Black Panther and Wakanda storyline. I thought just this movie was hitting on all cylinders and it's fantastic. It's seriously one of my favorite MCU films in a long time. All right, this is just, it's heart-wrenching, it's heartbreaking. It's got this great exploration of these two nations who both want to stay secluded and hide, their powers and stuff, but they want to do it in different ways. Whereas one's doing outreach and, actually being a part of the world. The other one wants to take the world by force and protect their stuff by force. It's very interesting because, both nations understand each other. Both leaders understand each other, but they're going about it different ways. And that makes them butt heads and makes war happen and, makes them, fight. Namor as a character, really interesting character, even if the little wings on his ankles are just super stupid, but he was a very interesting character, and I really can't wait to see more about him. Shuri's dealing with grief and, her accepting her role in life was just super well done. All of the acting is on their A game here. All the actors on their A game. They brought their A game, okay? These are some of the strongest performances I've seen in an MCU flick. Seriously. Like, Angela Bassett just is fantastic in this movie as the queen. It's just so... I don't know what I disliked or hated about this movie, all right? They were dealt such a hard blow, Marvel was, with Chadwick Boseman's untimely passing, and this is what they created in honor of that, and I thought that Ryan Coogler did a fantastic job at what he needed to do. It's not your typical MCU movie either. It's super deep. It's super depressing at times. It's short. It's long. It's slow. It's not action beat after action beat. No. We have a couple action scenes thrown in there, but overall, it's much more a character-driven story, and that worked really well for the story they were telling. I guess if I had to come up with one complaint, it was just that Everett Ross felt shoehorned in here. I didn't need Everett Ross. I didn't need his connection with Valentina. I didn't need this story about him getting arrested because I didn't care. I wanted more focus on Wakanda, which, he's barely in it. But even the scenes he's in it, I'm like, I don't really care what Everett Ross is doing. I want to see what the people of Wakanda are dealing with. I am super interested to see where Ryan Coogler was going to take the Black Panther franchise after this one, and I want to rewatch this as soon as possible. But then my favorite Phase 4 movie is Spider-Man No Way Home, okay? This was just a treat for Spider-Man fans. Seeing all three of the Spider-Man live-action actors reuniting on screen, fighting all of the major popular villains from their eras, it was just a treat. It was so much fun. People who say, yeah, you take the nostalgia out of it, it's a bad movie. Twitter will never convince me this is a bad movie. I mean, part of the plot is the nostalgia, but that makes it's just such a good movie. And even if you take that stuff out, it's one of the best Peter Parker portrayals and Tom Holland portrayals. I mean, you have this much darker, more adult story with Spider-Man. Sure, you still have the fun Spider-Man stuff going on, but this Spider-Man now, he has to deal with the aftermath of Spider-Man Far From Home, of Mysterio revealing his identity, and that it just sucks for a high school kid who just wants to do high school things, and his world is turned upside down because of this. And seeing his friends grapple with this, seeing him grapple with this, seeing him go to these extreme lengths so that he can live a normal childhood, is just it's so, I don't know what to describe it. It's just so interesting, so sad for him. Seeing what he has to give up so that his universe is saved and his friends can live their life. I mean, seriously, I really hope they don't undo this in the next one, because it's just it was so emotional. And Aunt May's death is one of the saddest deaths I've seen in the MCU. Like, it's just, whenever I see the scene, I want to cry. I want to cry. Seriously, this movie, this is a Spider-Man movie, what a culmination of a Spider-Man trilogy and the entire Spider-Man series should be about. Now, sadly, Morbius had to branch out from this, and Venom had to be involved and stuff, and that's, Sony's doing something weird with that. But this movie is just one of the strongest and best Marvel movies that we've seen, and superhero movies in general. Seriously, it's just a pure treat. It's just a pure treat, all right? And I love it for that. But yeah, that is my ranking of all of the MCU Phase 4 movies. We have The Eternals, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Widow, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. Let me know in the comments below what your ranking is, because my ranking is just my ranking. It's not the correct one, so let me know what yours is down below. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video.